Bee bread is also known as Ambrosia, food of the gods, or Perga. Bees bread is ideal food. It has all what is necessary for good health. Scientists has determined that among 100-years-old peoples are many beekeepers who always were eating bees bread. Athletes, bodybuilders, sportsmen are using it to achieve the best result in wins. It improves skin tone and has a rejuvenating effect on the body. Bees bread, what it do? Slow down aging, strengthens the immune system, strengthens the nervous system, improves brain activity. Irreplaceable sports supplement help to treat impotence, increases fertility, regulates the activity of the intestine, regulates the amount of cholesterol in the blood, detoxifying operation, improves potency. Diet supplement. Made bee pollen is the seeds of a flower blossom which has been gathered by the worker bees and to which special elements from the bees has been added. The bees collected and stored the pollen in their hives. It is collected on the legs of bees and formed into granules as they move from the flower to flower looking for nectar. When the bee brings pollen back to the hive, they put it into the comb cells. After the cell is filled up to 2/3 with pollen, the rest is filled with honey and finally sealed with wax. After 3 months of fermentation, the sweet and sour tasting bee bread is ready. What is the difference between bee bread and bee pollen? Bee bread is a superfood that is sometimes confused with bee pollen, and it is easy to confuse them as they are quite similar. Bee bread have extra nutrients. It has a higher energy value, and bee bread has at least 3 times more bioavailability than bee pollen. Perga is rich in amino acids as well as phytohormones, flavonoids, mineral elements and active biological compounds. The bioavailability of bee bread is at least 3 times bigger than that of bee pollen granules. Whether to use bee pollen or bee bread is a matter of personal preference. Bee bread is the richer in nutrients and gives a bigger energy boost. Bee bread is harder to find and is considerably more expensive. Bee bread is about 20% proteins, 24 to 34% carbohydrates and 1–5% of lipids. It has almost the same amount of calories as products from vegetables, flour, rice or peas. Bee bread has a large variety of minerals and has high quantities of iron, cobalt, phosphorus, calcium. It is one of the richest natural foods containing selenium. Bee bread is also an excellent source of potassium and B group vitamins. Amino acids, which are pre-digested for easy assimilation in the ratio that the human body needs, constitute about 15% of the dry substance in bee bread. It is a natural biostimulative nourishing supplement rich in phytohormones, flavonoids, free amino acids, mineral elements and other active biological compounds. With bioavailability at least 3 times more than regular bee pollen. This complex of vital substances determines the biostimulating role of bee bread. How to use: recommended to eat your bee bread first in the morning and in the noon. The amount of bee bread recommended: 2–3 teaspoons per day. For more information and where to buy, check description.